I love football. I cannot get enough of football. I watch it on every level.
The emotional release. You know, whether it's an exciting play that gets you all jacked up and juiced, or whether it's the fact that you're able to pour everything you have. Whatever frustration you had that week, you can put into that first kickoff coverage, that first block that you have, whatever it might be.
And I couldn't think of anything better to do to fill that void that you have as a football player than to get into coaching.
You get a chance to release a lot of emotion that you otherwise have no place to release. There's nothing else like that.
Again, the relationships you build and the people you're around, and watching the guys compete, not just on the football field, but in life after they get done playing. It's just an amazing game.
And don't forget to check out and order your copy of our latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find this available in both paperback and PDF form on our website at footballgameplan.com/books. There's no doubting the talent that Jay Cutler has. He just has to take better care of the football and manage situations better. I believe playing in a more run-based play-action offense would be ideal for Cutler, so that way he doesn't have to be the offense, but more so a part of the offense. I think those elements could not only improve his game, but the fortunes of the Bears offense as a whole. Jimmy Clausen right now is penciled in as the #2 guy, but in my opinion, David Fales should be next up if Cutler goes down. Fales was a 6th-round pick last year and is a guy that has the accuracy, the athleticism, and the anticipation you look for in a quarterback. Matt Forte is one of the best all-around backs in the game. Doing damage on both ends of offense makes the 8-year vet special. In my opinion, more Forte is never a bad thing, but the Bears would like to ease a little bit of his workload to keep him fresher down the stretch. They'll look to a couple of young guys to accomplish that goal. Free agent signee Jaquiz Rogers, 2nd-year man Kadeem Carey, and rookie 4th-round pick Jeremy Langford out of Michigan State. While one may not be head and shoulders better than the next guy, the one quality that they all share is the ability to catch the football out of the backfield, so it'll be a back-by-committee approach to spell Forte. Even without Brandon Marshall, I believe the Bears have a strong quartet of receivers. Alshon Jeffrey, who is coming off an 1,100-yard, 10-touchdown season, is more than ready to assume the #1 role. The goal was to find a capable yet dynamic option at #2, and you can definitely say that rookie 1st-round pick Kevin White out of West Virginia fits that role perfectly. White's explosiveness with the ball in his hands or even in his route running will make him tough to defend, especially with a lot of the focus coverage-wise going elsewhere. In free agency, the Bears brought in Eddie Royal, and Royal is your ideal slot guy with the ability to excel in the short to intermediate area. He and Marcus Wilson will battle for that 3rd spot, and Wilson can be a really good inside receiver, and it does give new offensive coordinator Adam Gase options with his personnel. Tight end Martellus Bennett is one of the better tight ends in the game, and his ability to control the middle of the field opens things up on the flanks for the wideouts, and no real threat at the #2 spot for the Bears. Mostly good blockers. Dante Rosario is capable, but is just decent as a receiver, and if Zach Miller can stay healthy, I think he'd be ideally suited for that #2 role. I actually like the Bears' offensive line, and there's a good bit of depth here as well. They signed Will Montgomery in free agency to man the center spot. Also along the interior, Kyle Long and Matt Slauson do excellent work, and the hope is that Slauson can return to form following an injury. Jermon Bushrod and Jordan Mills are the bookends, and Mills has the talent but has to show it on a more consistent basis. The Bears selected center Hronis Grasu out of Oregon and tackle Teo Fabalugi out of TCU in the draft, and I'm a big fan of the athleticism of Grasu, and Fabalugi is a guy that can play either tackle spot. Michael Ola and Charles Leno Jr. can play both guard and tackle, and Ryan Groy should continue to get better and quicker moving forward. With the switch to the 3-4, the Bears will be asking players who are already on the roster to take on different roles and responsibilities. And I think one place that's fine is up front. Will Sutton played in the 30 back at Arizona State and has no problem playing nose tackle or the 5-tech position. Jay Ratliff is another versatile lineman that's able to play both, as well as Eagle Ferguson. And I'm a big fan of free agent signee Jarvis Jenkins from the Washington Redskins, who was finally able to stay healthy last season and earned a chance to build on that success with Chicago. In the draft, the Bears selected Eddie Goldman from Florida State in the second round to be their future at nose tackle, and while he's a good player, I just feel as though Terry Williams, the undrafted free agent out of East Carolina, is a more disruptive presence. Williams is in the mold of Sutton, while Goldman is more in the mold of Ferguson. Either way, they help strengthen the depth here for Chicago. This is where you'll see a lot of movement because of the 3-4, and I think they're fine here as well. The best move was made in free agency with the signing of Pernell McPhee from Baltimore, and McPhee gets his opportunity to start after excelling as a reserve with the Ravens. They also signed Sam Ocho, who brings the ability to play inside and outside backer, and Mason Foster from Tampa Bay, who will probably see more duty in nickel looks. I like last year's undrafted free agent Christian Jones out of Florida State more as a starter inside. Jones can literally play all 4 backer spots. Jared Allen returning to full strength gives his unit some punch even at 34 years old, and the same can be said for Willie Young, who registered 10 sacks last year as he's coming off an Achilles injury. I'm a big fan of David Boss. He's a good athlete with the ability to turn a corner. He just needs an opportunity, and we'll see if Shea McClellan can make an impact along with Lamar Houston, who's also coming back from injury. This was an area of improvement for Chicago. They are stable at corner with Tim Jennings and second-year man Kyle Fuller out of Virginia Tech. Both can play press or off very well and have very good ball skills. The task is to find a sturdy nickelback, and you look at Alan Ball and Tracy Porter, 2 veterans that will compete for the starting role. And there's some solid depth here as well, I believe, with Demontre Hurst and Al Lewis-Jean both play well when called upon, as well as Sherrick McManus, another outstanding corner that they have that plays special teams. 2 undrafted free agents that could impress are Bryce Callahan out of Rice and Quamaine Black from East Central. Both could end up on the practice squad, but Black, I think, would be an ideal nickelback as he has ball skills and great instincts. The safety spot was upgraded with the addition of Antrell Roll, who's more of a combo guy that's able to do multiple things. 3 options to start opposite of him, and Ryan Mundy, who picked up 4 passes last year. Brock Vereen, who went through your typical rookie season, your ups and downs, and 5th round pick Adrian Amos out of Penn State. Amos' ability to match up versus receivers and tight ends makes him an attractive option to see a ton of playing time. Be prepared to see a lot of 3 safety looks this year from Chicago. I like the coverage units here for Chicago. Guys like Sherrick McManus and Demontre Hurst are must-haves for any special teams unit, and I think in a return game, as Mark Mariani gets back to what he was prior to that terrible injury a couple of seasons ago, you'll see that spark in the punt return department. And it wouldn't surprise me if Kevin White, the rookie out of West Virginia, got some work at kickoff returner as well. The kicking game and punting is in good hands with Robbie Gould and Pat O'Donnell, respectively. I have the Bears finishing 4th in the NFC North, much improved over last year's 5-11 record, but I think defensively they'll get off to a slow start, get better midway through the season, catching up with the offense to make a push for a 500 or a 9-win season. What could close a gap is ball security by Jay Cutler and leaning on Forte early on in the season to shrink some ball games. And also want to give a huge shout out to Bear fan forums for always showing football game plan support.